Okay, let's explore this idea. What is happening? Look, I'll be very honest, I've never tried any drugs, so I have no clue what I'm talking about truly. But what I suspect is happening is what I can talk about. So I must be very honest. I've never tried any drugs myself, so I don't know. But some of the scripture that I subscribe to, that talk about meditation and spiritual experiences, also mention that sometimes, this is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it mentions that certain drugs can alter the state of your mind and give you a deeper glimpse of nature of reality. It does recognize it. Now, why does it happen? Let me explain. If one is successful in meditation, I'm not talking all this gimmickry stuff that you hear about or see in the news, etc. If one is genuinely successful in meditation, then at the time that person becomes enlightened, if I can use the word, or enters into meditation, certain bodily changes actually take place. Certain physical changes accompany a spiritual experience. They're not disjointed. Look, the body, mind are all strongly interrelated. So when an individual gains a spiritual experience, certain activities do occur in the physical being, his physical frame. Now, these are to do with some of the activities in your brain, etc. I mean, some people say the alpha waves and the beta waves kind of get a different rhythm or whatever, but there are certain physical changes taking place, accompanying serious meditation. Now, what can happen? Look, I'm speculating on this issue, so I must be very honest. What I suspect happens when you take certain drugs, I have no idea which ones, is that the same physical changes that occurred when you are successful in meditation are induced in you artificially. So when you take certain drugs, some metabolism, some kind of activity in the brain is modified, and that is similar to the modification that occurs naturally when you succeed in meditation. So what it does is this, it's really putting the cart before the horse. The idea is that you enter a state of deep meditation, and in that process, some bodily changes take place, is unavoidable. But that's perfectly fine. But what you're doing is the other way around. You're bringing the bodily changes, hoping to gain a deeper insight into reality. See, the cart before the horse. And that's always dangerous when you put the cart before the horse. Because what you are doing is you are rattling your physical system, your physical being, in some manner whereby you get a glimpse of deeper reality. Now, as this has not been achieved through serious discipline, as I said, you require serious discipline and meditating day and night, all that. As this has been acquired without serious discipline, the way you can never truly appreciate the level of experience. So you're just getting a free sample of spiritual experience. So remember, the word free samples are never free. They come at a heavy price. That's why you are given free samples when you buy that magazine or something, because then you get hooked. The same thing happens with this, if you like, drug-induced meditation or drug-induced spiritual experience. Because you had a deeper glimpse that was very thrilling, you can't really even interpret it because you're mentally you are not ready to in a way interpret what you experience, but you just had a glimpse of a deeper reality, which was very thrilling, very exciting. You get hooked on it. You can't interpret it, you can't really relate to it, but you are hooked to it. So what you do is you continue to take more and more drugs to get yourself into that state. And now you are doing tremendous harm to your physical being, and you are mentally not at all geared up to, in a way, interpret this experience at all. So you are in a mess. In no time, that individual becomes seriously disjointed, I would say, and he cannot relate to the ordinary reality with this drug-induced reality, and he soon becomes a lot of cases they become schizophrenic. They don't know what is happening to them. Look, I'm talking about the serious drugs that can do tremendous harm. I'm not talking about this kind of mild, I don't know the difference, by the way. The mild drugs, perhaps, which will just give you a little bit of a kind of like a, mental kick.
Like caffeine.
Like coffee, whatever, or Coke. The thing is, so Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
Be very careful. Coke means something quite different. So what I'm saying is this. Rather than, what I would prescribe or I would suggest is to go through the serious disciplines and enjoy this kind of marvelous spiritual experience that comes in a natural mode. And when you enter the state, it is done, if you like, with your control, under your control. So you are a master in the whole process. You are not at the mercy of drug-induced, kind of glimpses. So you are your own master. You can interpret that experience in its true majesty and live with that experience in a genuine manner. Well, if it is done artificial, means the cart before the horse, you are going to end up in a serious, in no time you're going to end up in a serious problem, because you can no longer relate to the reality in front of you, and it becomes addictive, and in no time your whole personality will crumble. So it's really the issue of getting the perspective right. It's important to put in the severe disciplines, then get that experience of meditation, and whatever bodily changes take place, so be it. They won't get in your way, and you are not, addicted to trying to get those bodily changes. That, by the way, they're secondary phenomena. So I think this is an important thing. And you see, it's nice for us to, in a way, the people who take drugs are always trying to understand why they're getting this marvelous psychedelic experience. And in a way, to give them this deeper insight that comes from a religious or spiritual angle is useful, because now they are told what you experience, even though you could not truly appreciate it, is marvelous, but it's telling you there's much more to you than you ever thought. So rather than use this kind of artificial ploy to get into that state, why don't you take on the severe discipline that is required, so that you can enter this state at your own pace and make sense of it and live with that experience in its true majesty, and enhance your life and the life of everybody that you come across. That is the right way of doing it. So I'm saying, put the horse before the cart, and then you are safe.
That's very interesting. So whilst some of the physiological feelings and emotional feelings may be similar, what you're saying is that the drug-induced way is transient, it's damaging, it doesn't last, whereas the spiritual way, if done properly, it's very hard work, but the journey is more wonderful, and the end result is much more inspiring and more permanent.
Absolutely. Look, have you seen, suppose this is taking drugs is a spiritual experience. Have you seen any Buddhas coming out of this kind of drug-induced state?
No.
They all become schizophrenic and crash. So if you do this, if you tackle this issue in this particular manner, in this structured manner, then the prize that awaits you is a very grand prize. You become prophet of humanity. And if you take on this other way, you end up in a rehabilitation center somewhere. It's a big difference. So it's best to kind of take on a serious discipline in a structured manner and turn into a prophet of humanity, rather than become a dustbin case for humanity.
Free e-learning course in Hinduism. To register, please visit www.hindu-academy.com.
Talks on Hinduism, sponsored by People Care, encouraging caring for the elderly in their own homes. For more information, please visit peoplecare.com.